John Wick, Chapter 4 director calls Arc de Triomphe scenes a stress attack. Chad Stahelski has done his share of action movies. The stuntman and film director has worked on The Crow and The Matrix trilogy, stunting for Keanu Reeves before directed the actor in his first 3 films of the John Wick trilogy. According to Entertainment Weekly, the recent installment of John Wick, Chapter 4, kept Stahelski and Reeves working for 100 nights, thanks to the many night scenes that take place in the film. Even the interiors we shot at night because we were on a night schedule, explained the director. One action sequence in a sea of complex ones, however, managed to keep Stahelski up at night. The director reportedly found the battle at Paris Arc de Triomphe particularly tough. Rather than closing down the frenetic and congested traffic circle around the city's magnificent 1806 Triumphal Arch, these particular scenes required a massive battle in which Wick, several leading bad guys, a squad of henchmen and several trained stunt dogs fight across speeding ongoing traffic. There's no easy scene. There's no easy days, explained Stahelski. It's just how creative you get with problem solving. But, logistically, the trickiest one was obviously the Arc de Triomphe. You can't just hope the dog doesn't get hit by a bus and hope your leads don't get run over. Referring to the sequence as a nice stress attack, Stahelski revealed the complexities that audiences don't see. What people forget is, it's not just the actors and stunt people. I've got 2 camera crews in the middle of that traffic, explained the director. I've got 50 stunt drivers from all over the world with 5 different languages. We're kind of rehearsing as we go because you just can't afford to have 300 cars in rehearsal for months out, so everybody's rehearsed in pieces, and then, on the day, you have to put all those pieces together, and then you really have to have faith that you can pull this off. John Wick 4's Donnie Yen wants a Kane spin-off. With the John Wick franchise set to expand with spin-offs on both the big and small screens, we could end up seeing Donnie Yen starring in his own story. In John Wick, Chapter 4, Yen makes his debut in the franchise as the blind assassin Kane, an old acquaintance of Keanu Reeves' John Wick who's tasked by the High Table with taking him down. Yen's performance in the role has drawn some praise, with Kane standing out as a fan favorite, and as there's still so much about him that's unknown, the assassin seems to have a lot of spin-off potential to further explore the character. For what it's worth, Yen is interested in doing more with Kane in the John Wick universe. In a new interview, per Variety, he named a spin-off focusing on Kane as something he hopes to do next in Hollywood. Yen made his interest clear by stating, "I'd love to do a John Wick spin-off centered around Kane." With that said, Yen even suggests that there may have already been some talks about the spin-off, but he adds that this doesn't necessarily mean that the project will happen. "There's always talks in Hollywood," Yen said, laughing. Yen continues to work frequently in China, but even beyond a potential John Wick spin-off, it's probably just a matter of time before he's back on the big screen, especially given the box office success of John Wick, Chapter 4. For years, he's been attached to a planned Sleeping Dogs movie based on the video game. Some Star Wars fans have also been calling for him to get his own Rogue One prequel on Disney+, and the actor has previously said he's open to revisiting that role as well. For now, fans can take in Yen's latest performance by heading to the movie theater. Yen stars in John Wick, Chapter 4 alongside Keanu Reeves, Bill Skarsgård, Lawrence Fishburne, Hiroyuki Sanada, Shamir Anderson, Rina Sawayama, Scott Adkins, Ian McShane, Clancy Brown, and the late Lance Reddick. Yen was among the cast and crew wearing ribbons at the Los Angeles premiere of the film, as Reddick had died just days earlier. At least 2 spin-offs are already in development for John Wick. Ana de Armas will lead her own spin-off film Ballerina, which will include cameos from Reeves and others from the franchise. A prequel series called The Continental is also in the works at Peacock, which will feature Colin Waddell as a younger version of Ian McShane's character, Winston Scott. Mel Gibson also stars. More spin-offs have been teased by producer Erica Lee, who says that a 3rd spin-off will be announced in the near future. Fast X Images reveal new looks at Jason Momoa's villain and Brie Larson's ally. A trio of new images from the upcoming action movie sequel, Fast X, reveal new looks at Aquaman star Jason Momoa as the villain, Captain Marvel actress Brie Larson as an ally, and Vin Diesel as returning lead Dominic Toretto. Coming courtesy of Total Film, the new images further tease the big names that will inhabit the large ensemble cast at the center of Fast X, as Dom and his family once again drive really fast to save the world. Action star Jason Momoa will play the main villain of the piece, Dante, with Fast and Furious staple Michelle Rodriguez recently heaping praise on the Dune actor's bad guy. Revenge with a smirk. It sounds light, but when you see the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, she said. I'd say he's the best male villain we've had in the entire franchise, of course because Charlize kills it. You know what I mean? She's a whole other different type of monster, no pun intended. As for Larson, she has now revealed that she will play Tess, the daughter of Kurt Russell's enigmatic agent, Mr. Nobody. Tess is Mr. Nobody's daughter. She is technically agency, but she's kind of a bridge, in a way, Larson explained. She doesn't go along with the way that the agency's headed now that her father isn't there. She believes in the legacy that her father set up, which is standing with Dom and standing with the Toretto family, and is fighting for that. The 10th installment in the Fast and Furious saga, Fast X launches the final chapters of one of cinema's most storied and popular global franchises, now in its third decade and still going strong with the same core cast and characters as when it began. Over many missions and against impossible odds, Dom Toretto, Vin Diesel, and his family have outsmarted, outnerved and outdriven every foe in their path. Now, they confront the most lethal opponent they've ever faced, a terrifying threat emerging from the shadows of the past who's fueled by blood revenge, and who is determined to shatter this family and destroy everything, and everyone, that Dom loves, forever. In 2011's Fast 5, Dom and his crew took out nefarious Brazilian drug kingpin Hernan Reyes and decapitated his empire on a bridge in Rio de Janeiro. What they didn't know was that Reyes' son, Dante, Jason Momoa, witnessed it all and has spent the last 12 years masterminding a plan to make Dom pay the ultimate price. Dante's plot will scatter Dom's family from Los Angeles to the catacombs of Rome, from Brazil to London and from Portugal to Antarctica. New allies will be forged and old enemies will resurface. But everything changes when Dom discovers that his own 8-year-old son, Leo Abello Perry, Blackish, is the ultimate target of Dante's vengeance. Directed by Louis Leterrier, Clash of the Titans, The Incredible Hulk, from a screenplay by Justin Lin, Zach Dean, and Dan Mazeau, Fast X is scheduled to be released on May 19, 2023, by Universal Pictures. Nicolas Cage accidentally drank blood while playing Dracula in Renfield. You would be forgiven for thinking that Nicolas Cage is the central focus of Universal's upcoming horror comedy Renfield, as the actor has been producing all of the headlines ahead of the movie's release in April. That is now the case once again after Cage took part in a Reddit Ask Me Anything session in which he revealed that as part of his role as the iconic vampire he accidentally ended up drinking some blood on the set. However, it should be pointed out that it was his own blood, and it was caused by his very sharp ceramic fangs. While there are many actors who have been criticized for going to outlandish lengths to encompass their characters via method acting techniques, Cage revealed that his blood drinking in the role of Dracula was certainly nothing like that, and instead came from him constantly biting his lip. He said, "No reason in terms of method, but the fangs were genuine fangs, they were ceramic and quite pointy. So I did bite my lip a few times, which made me drink my own blood." While Cage's blood-sucking ways may not have been exactly like those of his on-screen counterpart, it looks like there will be plenty of blood coming in Renfield, and the actor plays up as one of the worst bosses in the history of cinema, at least in this version of the story. There have been many iterations of Dracula brought to life on screen in the last century, and many of them have been iconic for different reasons. When it comes to putting his stamp on the character, Nicolas Cage looked to one of the greatest Dracula actors, as well as taking inspiration from a little closer to home. He previously said, "Well, I had a lot of help. There were a ton of super talented people on that movie that helped design the look. We wanted it to be more homage, more Christopher Lee. I favored Christopher Lee as Dracula and I liked his kind of 60s hairdo, but the wardrobe, the costume, and no, I didn't come up with the idea for the rings. That all came out of a wardrobe. They came in with all that. Maybe they sent something in me that I would like that, but that was really their contribution. One thing that is certain is that Nicolas Cage is not just going to play any old Dracula, and audiences can really expect the actor to ham it up as this newest take on the Count, and make it as memorable as it possible can be. Co-starring with Cage are Nicholas Hoult in the title role along with Awkwafina, Ben Schwartz, Adrian Martinez, Bess Rouse, Shora Agdashlu, and James Moses. Renfield arrives in cinemas on April 14th.